concerned about trouble and trying to be irresponsible, one-sided news stories.
Sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Everyone, Dave here, December 1773. This is episode 43 of The Weekly Show, all the week's hottest topics with a twist. With me, as always, is Ryan, and Ryan this week has a bone to pick with me. But before that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. The liking and the commenting is more important than the subscriptions, in my opinion. Ryan, I don't know what the bone is, but I'd like to hear what bone you would like to pick.
What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know. You're a man of mystery.
I am a man of mystery. I'm a man of many faces. Hi everybody. Hi, Dave. So we built this platform together, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so why the fuck would you use the very platform I built to insult me to our followers?
Oh, because I felt like it was the easiest way for you to see it.
Alright, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm opening today with a tweet I had. You can follow me at Wallace Laughs on all platforms. This was my tweet. Anyone tried asking...
Are you on Grindr?
I'm not yet. Soon to be to all my male listening audience. What's Grindr? Oh, it's like Tinder, but grindier. Alright, so as everybody knows, we failed to discuss it, but there was a hack in the pipeline. And gas kind of went crazy. People were panic buying like they were laundry detergent and toilet paper and everything else earlier last year. So I'm glad people wisened up. I still don't know where you're going to... Something never got me with filling up on gas. What are you going to do when everybody's trying to drive at the same time?
That's what happens in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you're going to have a full tank of gas sitting in when everybody else is trying to leave where you live. So it's not going to work. You're going to have to walk. Anyways... So that pipeline thing, the hack and all that, and I'm sure we'll get to that later in our segment, but, so here was my tweet. Anybody tried asking them friendly aliens for gas, ? Considering they have resources to invade our planet, maybe they could share for once. Hashtag Colonial Pipeline. So, Dave screenshotted that and put on the December 1773, go follow, on our Facebook page, and proceeded to mock me about it.
Now, Ryan, to be clear,
it's not to be clear, David. That's
out of all of our audience members, I'm sure most of them don't believe in aliens.
Is that because we catered to the 66 and older crowd? Yeah, I like old ladies. Get over it.
Yeah, no. I mean, to my point on your post, they don't have gas, Ryan. They're advanced. They use element 115, as Bob Lazar has talked about.
Brian is a non-believer, and I think we should try to change him. Who wants to see an alien episode of The Weekly Show?
Who wouldn't want to watch that? Some of our best clips are just us arguing about aliens.
Because they're not real. I don't know. I can't wait. June is so close.
Oh, that's gonna be when that's gonna have to be when it is. It can't be Beachcast though. It'll have to be after Beachcast.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And another bone I have to pick with you. What was up with the can opener thing? You ditched me last week. You just skate off. You're done. Talk about a legacy of opening cans.
I don't need you to drag me down to your misogyny.
All right, man. I'm done. I'm done with you.
I'm still waiting for Ryan's Misogyny Pro Guy podcast.
It's in the works.
I can't wait to see an episode. I don't know how quickly you need to. I don't know if you need editing help. Whatever you need. I'd love to see it. I'm not going to be in it, but I'd love to see it.
Yeah, you primarily won't be in it because you'd be a single man after. Your old lady would probably leave. You'd be like, I can't be associated with this shit.
The second best thing, however, to the Pro Guide podcast would be headlines. The second best thing for sure. Is Ryan does not believe in aliens. He also does not believe in watching great documentaries like Tiger King. Jeff Lowe said he got a secret letter, and the letter, which was anonymous, states, Carole Baskin's ex-husband is buried under her house. Ryan, however, unfortunately can't really discuss very much of this because he did not watch Tiger King, which is easily the best part of COVID. And there were people getting $1,400 checks. Tiger King was still better than that.
And they were buying tigers with their $1,400 checks.
Are you know generally of something, even though you didn't watch it, like you know Carole Baskin, right? Like she was the one who was.
Yeah, it's did he take the fall for the murder of the husband? She blamed him or something?
No.
Then why is he in prison? Why is he in prison?
He's in prison because he had a murder he paid somebody to kill her.
But she's alive?
Well, yeah, because the person he paid to kill her was an undercover agent.
You know, you think for a guy that buys tigers out of parking lots without getting caught would do a better vetting process before he hires a murderer.
Do you? Do you think a guy who buys tigers out of parking lot would be smarter than that?
I don't know. How many strip malls are selling tigers? I've never seen one.
None. Yeah. For anyone who has not seen Tiger King, why do you even have a reason for life? Go see Tiger King. It'll be the second greatest documentary ever to paper mache Jesus.
Paper mache Jesus coming soon.
Coming soon. The other thing I'm looking forward to from Ryan. Ryan, I saw this one and I couldn't help but just feel skeptical on this. Headlines: Consumer prices shot up 0.8% in April as the word they use, worries escalate.
Just worries?
Just worries. That's the only thing that drove up consumer prices.
Gas didn't go up?
No. That was because worries.
Lumber costs aren't up?
No, that's because people worried.
Taxes are going up?
That's from worries.
It's weird they're blaming worries and not the pandemic like everything else that they blame the pandemic for.
Yeah, it's strange they're not blaming the things that you can physically point to. They're pointing out people's worries.
Did you know that
all these pricings are going up?
The national debt reached $28 trillion.
That's because people worried about it.
Yeah, worried about it. Now we're worried about the debt.
Well, yeah. Some Republicans are now worried about it after 4 years of being absent.
Crisis at the border. You think they're worried about that? Think that caused anything to do with crisis with all this worry?
I can't honestly, I can't take media seriously anymore. It's ridiculous. That was the Associated Press. Come on.
Yeah, no, we got more credibility than these other news organizations, and we just use their shit against them. That's what's incredible. It's it's not worries. It's you bankrupted the economy. You printed more money than ever been printed before at one time in American history, and our dollar's already been losing everything with inflation slowly, and there's talk of hyperinflation, some people say.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right, though. And you said it on a podcast a while back. Prices don't go up. The dollar value goes down.
Yeah. Yeah, the same job I did for $7 an hour is paying $14 an hour. It's the same exact job. A fast food job.
Right. What changed?
The value of my dollar.
Was it worries? People worried so much that they had to pay more?
Yeah. Worries is what... Is that what makes your paycheck go up? Because you're worried about it? I'm worried my salary is too low.
It's such a ridiculous statement. I can't believe people paid to do this.
Yeah, imagine if all the economy was based on, prices were negotiated instead of their worth or their rarity or their scarcity or their how easy they are to acquire and to get into to make into something that's valuable for all of humans to use. Imagine if that price, instead of being based on merit and worth and value and that it was just based on worry and emotion. Imagine you go buy bread one day, be 50 cents, the next day be $500. I'm just really scared today.
Yeah, I
had a bad dream, caused gas to go up.
Come on, like there's no way they actually think that. They can't.
You know what's more sad than them printing that is the people that believe it.
Yeah,
I'm sad for my countrymen and women. I really
am. And other genders. Speaking of things that people are worried about, headlines. I love that. I can't even believe this either. White supremacy is the nation's top security threat. White supremacy.
It's pretty.
Anyone ever met a white supremacist, a legitimate white supremacist?
I've never met
not somebody who voted for Trump. I mean, an actual white supremacist.
No, I've never met like an organized, branded, banner carrying, crown sheet wearing, grandmaster, bubble blower, whatever they call themselves in their organization over there at the crappy Krispy Kreme donut fucking factory that they run. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. You know, this is obviously, I think we've said this before. They're just painting it to hate white conservatives. You know, they're just promoting the race war more. They did it with the police at work, so now they got to go for the average person, because race relations in this country are all-time low. This is just another tactic. I mean, it worked with cops, like I said. You know, we've lost the ability to have unbiased juries. We've lost the path of objectivity in the court of law with some of these police shootings.
I gotta say,
I think they're just bringing it down to your neighbor now. They got the police, so now they got to attack, you know, your community more.
I very much envy the left's ability to totally flip a narrative on its head, because, like you just said, white supremacy is they're using it as a way to have people show hatred towards white conservatives, when the entire thing was started by white Democrats.
Yeah, it's easy to flip a narrative when you create it, foster it, bring it to fruition. You give it bones, you give it meat, you create it, it grows into an adult, and now that it's an adult running on the scene, this idea that you've created and propagated and put all your time and energy in, now that it's become something, you could just be like, okay, make a left, make a right, you know, you control this thing, you know, and that's why they're able to flip narratives. But yeah,
they do it because they control the public schools and they control the media. So of course they can do it.
It's this Marxism. This is a Marxism takeover. They've done it with. I mean, it's not. I'm not just saying that. I mean, identity politics and all that. People have talked about this. This is exactly what it is. So to have it, like I said, it's just trickling over to brand anybody. First of all, this is really targeting vocal people like myself and you, David. You know, like I mean, when you think about it, like the average white conservative Trump voter. The average person, you know, is just going through their life. I've always talked, people don't talk politics and religion and stuff already. So now the people that are vocal, that are white, that are conservative, we now have a bigger target on our back, or it's easier to brandish these people as white supremacists. Quite honestly, this is probably what they did with MLK and Malcolm X and some of these black people, right? Oh, look at them with their Black Panther Party. They're using the same tactics that the FBI used against MLK that they would. You know what I mean? It's the same tactic. They're just applying it to conservatism. How do I know? How do I know that they haven't infiltrated these organizations? How do I know that Marxists haven't? I mean, BLM openly talks about destroying the nuclear family. That's Marxism in behavior. So if you've permeated that organization, we have global riots. What are you doing to... I mean, I know personally there's a term in the right-wing media. It's right-wing wing of politics. It's called Rhino, Republican in name only, and that's just basically it's a patch switcher. You know, they got an R on their chest, but they're really a D. You know, basically
your Liz Cheney's of the world.
Yeah, which for I'm just gonna touch on this because I don't want to talk about her, but go fuck yourself. I'm so tired of like dynasties in politics. I'm glad we're watching them all die off, but like, I mean, who cares? Why do we feel like these one person is like the face of the GOP? It's ridiculous. but then again, we've been branded that we the people is we the government. So I guess that's what we get for believing bullshit. But circling back before that, yeah, Republican in name only. You know, like it's bullshit. This whole thing. It's just to craft it so that the people that are vocal, the people that are different, the people that do stand up, like Steven Crowder, who's facing a lot of slack, they can't call Ben Shapiro white supremacist because he's Jewish, so he gets a pass there, right?
Oh, I beg to differ.
Right, they've called him a Nazi before, but I mean Crowder's might get a perma ban from YouTube. 5 million subscribers, 7 million subscribers, whatever he's at now, could get a perma ban. You know, they've banned his Twitter. I mean, this is all this is doing. Like I said, the FBI used these tactics against Malcolm X, against the minority leaders, against the Black Panthers. They write books about how those very organizations were infiltrated. Well, they've done it to the Republicans. They've done it to the Patriot movement. I know locally, people I know always talk about it. You know, I can share the information with people. Contact me, you know? Like, I'm not going to air all that on this podcast in particular, but it's out there. The movements have been hijacked from the grassroots. That's why it's so important to have grassroots movement, so that you can control it and not let like scumbags take it over. So yeah, this is just greasing the skids. Talk about all the time here. It's exactly what they're doing. I know that's their plan. I mean, you would call these counter-revolutionaries. You know what I mean? It's basically like, once again, like they hijack the movements that are already happening. Like they're a counter of the revolutionary, like whether it be civil rights or women's rights or whatever. It'd be like you impregnate yourself in that organization and then work within it to destroy it. A counter-revolutionary. It's kind of what you're facing. So
yeah. We had some big issues with the way the coronavirus was handled from the top down here. Mm-hmm. I had a big issue with the individual checks and the fact that they shut down businesses but then sent businesses money. It's like, well, just let the business be open and then you don't have to send them money. Just a thought. But whenever government sends money, there is inevitably going to be corruption. You see it all the time with welfare.
Never let a crisis go to waste, my friend.
Headlines! Miami man who bought a Lamborghini with his COVID-19 relief money sentenced to 6 years in prison. Now, when I say his COVID-19 relief money, he was a business owner. He wasn't getting two $1,400 checks and buying a Lamborghini. What he was doing was making fake claims to get checks to stimulate his business. And then he took those and bought a Lamborghini.
My economics teacher was a very smart man, successful, probably worth a lot of money, probably more than I may ever be in my life. But I strive to be that successful. And he always says there's two things you can never get away from, and that's death and taxes. So, yeah, they're going to find you. They can SWAT team you in the Amazon fucking rainforest if you don't pay your taxes. So, this doesn't surprise me. But don't be an idiot, people. You know, this just proves like a point about a lot of things, like why you shouldn't give people money.
Right.
I mean,
right?
like,
if somebody's irresponsible with their own money, it doesn't matter. It's their money. If they're responsible with everybody's money, that's a problem.
Well, we'll go a step further. Like, you know, they have those lottery shows, right? There's statistics all the time that talk about the amount of people that win the lottery and then are broke again.
Sure.
And it really talks about, it really is indicative of our psychology as people, that the people that would probably be best suited to handle that money don't operate in the way to win the money. The people that are good with money don't gamble. That's one of the things that makes them good with money. So these people that gamble and want to get rich, their habits aren't set up so when they do get the money, that they're wise enough to spend it smartly and not go broke and set up financial wealth for the future generation. All the shit the rich people that you hate them for. So they go broke again. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, those stimulus checks, the stimulus checks, 4th of July, we didn't have parades anywhere in this country. And there was fucking private 4th of July parades, fireworks displays locally around me that were better than the town. And I bet you that was some Biden bucks and Trump bucks there.
It would have been Trump bucks at that time.
No, those were Biden bucks, bro. The Biden did that.
This last one
Biden's
here.
been president since 2012, bro.
Oh, this last one here, I'm sure it's one you not only heard but wanted to get into. Headlines: Tesla will no longer accept Bitcoin over climate concerns. I mean, he's a green car company. He's concerned about the environment, right, Ryan? Green cars are super environmentally friendly, aren't they?
Yeah, it just takes all that manpower, resource, slave labor, the cobalt, the lithium, the ions that they got to draw the atmosphere, and all the things his cars are built. We've talked about it. I like Elon Musk because all the things he does and wants to do. He's fucking Iron Man and all that shit. But yeah, you can have it one way or the other, but you can't have it both. Okay? And he's doing both. He's talking about climate control, but literally he profits from the things that destroy the environment. So, but hey, at least the car's electric. It's not run on fossil fuels. Just took a shit ton of them to make. Hey, how do you see electricity? Oh, I plug it in the wall. What's the wall run on? Fossil fuels.
But if you had some Tesla solar panels, you could charge your car with the sun. Granted, it would take a long time because it would consume a lot of solar energy.
Hey, David, do we have batteries big enough to store that amount of power?
Well, no.
Well, then how are we going to mandate that everybody go to electric vehicles on 2035?
We would just directly go from the sun to the car. Yeah, so this is what Germany ran. Was it Germany? I think it was Germany. This is what Germany ran into.
Yeah, they just buy their energy now. They buy it from Russia.
Yeah, they had to sell everything at a loss because they can't store all the power they get, and they can't consume it all. So they just sell it off at a loss.
And they spent all that money in their economy to build the system. So the shit that they spent to make it, it's not profitable for them. So then they're like triple losing money. Yeah. You had to spend money. The saying is spend money to make money. Well, they spent money to lose money.
And that's not to say that there's no path forward for solar panels or solar electricity.
The government's too big to fail, just like apparently some businesses are too big to fail. So we run into this thing that the government can't go bankrupt, so then they got to buy fucking foreign bonds or get bought out by foreign... Like, this is how you lose your country, man. This is why it's so important. You want wealth, man.
As far as energy goes, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go forward without fossil fuels. I think you have to use fossil fuels now. I mean, all societies are ran on it. But if you're going to shift away, I'm not saying solar panels can't be useful, but as of right now, it's kind of, you can't just convert everything to solar. You can't put everything to wind power. You can't, you can try to take the heat off of fossil fuels with these things, but Germany did it the wrong way. France, frankly, is doing it correctly. They went nuclear.
Let's do it.
And
let's do it.
Turns out it's pretty efficient. Doesn't create a lot of waste. Produces a lot of power.
It's storable.
Believe it or not, and people won't believe this because obviously there's these mega things that have happened with nuclear energy, but it is the safest of all energies.
Yeah, it's it's funny they never mention like Chernobyl happened in Russia and not in America. So, but what about all the bad things that happen? Like, yeah, in Russia. Well, ours are leaking too. Yeah, but they didn't fucking almost melt a hole into the ground and poison everybody's drinking water. What are you talking about? Yeah, this is kind of like when the piece of shit Chinese want to go land on Mars again. China has landed on Mars. I don't know if you heard about this. Yeah, they landed on Mars, and so yeah, that's always good to know. I'm glad we made a Space Force because I bet you China's had one for a while. And I bring up the China going into space because their rocket was falling back down to Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of these things. We're in this weird time of like we're trying to like build the new frontier and find ways to change things. And I know we're going to space so that we can learn more about us and down here. But it's just kind of one of those things we always. There's a lot of double dipping going on. I didn't hear anybody bitch or complain to the Chinese government about them polluting the earth with their fucking rocket that is going to smash somewhere. Oh, it's just going to land somewhere.
I don't say anything about any of the things they do that pollute Earth. That's why the Paris Climate Accord was such a waste.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like they double dip, and it's always, it always honestly comes back to separating me from my money at some point. You ask these people how are we going to get these systems established, and it's always the first thing is taxes. Well, taxes is me. Taxes is me. You always just say we're going to tax the rich people. Okay, that makes sense. The rich people are just going to pass the savings on to me. So I pay for it. There's no such thing as a free lunch. My economics teacher taught me.
Are you insinuating that that's going to drive up costs?
No, fear does that, David.
Oh, that's okay. That's what I was going to say. I read recently that worries do that.
Yeah, no, that's if it doesn't cost $1 to make a cheeseburger anymore, I can't sell it at $1. I mean, we just talked lightly on how Europe has to sell their power for a loss. That's not sustainable. If that said Ryan's energy company, I'd go bankrupt. But because it says Germany on the side of it, it can't go bankrupt. We just imagine, like, once again, Joe Biden can legislate by pen, but it sounds good on paper. You can just legislate these things. Great, fine. You're trying to save the world and be progressive. Save the environment. It's also funny, they always talk about the ego of man, but they think that man's going to be able to fix and save the earth, like one guy's agenda. And trust the scientists, but their fucking egos are as big as Trump's are because they know everything. It's fucking... I'm going to trust the scientists.
No.
You want me to trust scientists to set the thermometer of the world? I'm going to give that authority to one person. Cuomo gave himself authority over masks, which the CDC has now come out and said that if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask, even inside.
Well, what's interesting about that is if we say something against the CDC or do something that the CDC doesn't recommend, our videos get flagged.
Yeah, the governor, though. The governor can say, I'm going to look at what they said, and then I'll let you know what they said. And then it's like, okay, states' rights. I don't have personal rights, but the state has unalienable rights. The government has more rights than you have. And the government's not even a real thing. The government's we the people, I thought. No, it's we the government now. Remember? This is what they've told you. I use their words against them. I get on here every week and tell you people about this. It's true. This is how you steal countries, man. I got quite a bit here, David. The pipeline, we touched on that a little bit. Did you hear about what happened? It was like a malware, one of those phishing schemes.
I heard it was getting hacked, and I don't know enough about it to know how you hack a pipeline.
Yeah, well, if you can hack a pipeline, but you can't hack voting machines. So always remember that.
The voting machines. No, they don't connect to the internet, Ryan. Remember, the voting machine company told you that.
But a pipeline does? There's an Ethernet cable plugged into all the pipelines out there?
Yes.
This is what I mean, people. They question your common sense as an adult. I'm not saying that there was theft in the election. But don't tell me that...
Let's be clear. Let's be clear before this video can't be seen.
I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm just saying, don't tell me that they held the pipeline ransom for $5 billion in fucking cryptocurrency, which the people got. $5 billion in crypto. Okay?
That's like 3 Bitcoin.
And then after Musk sold them all to pump and dump.
10 Bitcoin.
Yeah, then they gave the pipeline back. But this is what I mean. Like, I'm not saying that, but you say the pipeline got hacked, but voting machines can't be. And all the defense and all this thing, it's crazy. It's crazy how you can warp reality, and we're supposed to take it. I'm glad you brought up the prices going up, because I actually have the number on inflation. It's 4.2% right now. It's gone up 4.2%. For people who don't... Yeah.
A lot of worrying.
For people who don't know, inflation on the U.S. dollar, on average, every year for the last 50 years has been about 2%. So the dollar devalued twice as fast as it normally does. A lot of worrying, dude.
Make it 10%. Here,
U.S.
keep
that's at
printing
28.1 trillion, but we don't care about
Keep
that
printing.
anymore. Keep
For
printing.
those of us who don't know in our history, we don't care if we just keep printing money and making it worthless, because it's not like another country hasn't done this within the century.
It works every time, Dave. It's unequivocal. You know what happens to those countries? They become new countries, so they get bought out. No longer a sovereign nation. Ye said globalism is inevitable.
Tyrant.
Yeah, Ye said that globalism is inevitable. That's what he said. President for life, Xi. Zing, ping, whatever the fuck.
Duly elected by the People's Republic of whatever.
Yeah, they can't. You can't hack their. They don't have problems voting there because they don't have internet. So.
Is that why?
No, they just get a bullet in the head if they vote for the wrong person. New York State Bill S-75 passed the floor. That is the vaccine mandate bill. I encourage everybody to go look it up. I just seen it yesterday. I will have more next week about it because I'm sure we'll be talking about it shortly.
How would that not immediately get shut down?
Yeah, my boy Cuomo down in Albany there says even though the CDC said that this is fine, I'm gonna review it and I'll let you know. We'll circle back. So I can't wait for that. And then
Civil liberties, Ryan, they're this big.
Civil liberties. 170 billion people roughly have been alive in human history, and the civil liberties that we use every day here in this country were given to you in 1776. They were guaranteed in 1791, and they have been further established for the rest of this country's existence. And we're the oldest continuous democracy in the history of the world. So, with that being said, we need to be very careful. We always talk about killing other, you care about other people, and you're supposed to care about other people. We're all in this together. They're using the wrong words. We're actually all in this together, sure, but we're actually all connected is what they don't want to let you know that. We're not all in this together because you don't pay my bills. You don't clean my dishes. You don't live my life. But we are all connected. It's a far different thing. So they use psychology to trick you into believing this. But that being said, we as humans, if we're talking about all of us being connected, we as humans have suffered. Billions of people have suffered to give you freedom. And we willingly give it up. It's a disgrace to everybody's ancestors that are not here. Everybody alive, your ancestors, when you give civil liberties up, I mean, we always talk about it. We hear about police brutality and segregation and Jim Crow laws and all these backlashes of all these things, of all this bad stuff that has happened. And it's true, some of it. But it's crazy. A lot of people suffer to give you civil liberties. And it wasn't because they consciously were suffering. It's just the way of the world. It was just the way the world was. And it took until modern countries, mostly Western countries, to establish the legal system, which has paved the way for due process and other things we take granted. So, I just got two more things quick here, David, and then I'll get to closing up here. There was 120 generals, retired generals, wrote they wrote a letter to the White House, basically, and the way the news spun it was that they believe in a false election conspiracy, and they also believe that Joe Biden's mental health is in question.
Oh, you're not supposed to think that.
I bring it up. I don't want to sit here and get in the minutia of their bullshit article or whether the generals are right or wrong. The military is the litmus test. I mean, they literally created the IQ test, the military did, and all sorts of other things. But the military is a very telling sign. When they start saying things, and when you start... I just saw another thing that Kevin said to us. Somebody in the military was told to step down because they refused to accept Marxist ideology and critical race theory in the military. And they told the guy to step down. So the military is a gauge. It is a litmus test. It is a metric to measure our society on because, quite frankly, the military is the most barbaric form of our culture. So when shit's going on there, it's a lightning rod. It is a test, canary in the coal mine. So it's just telling to me, this is something else I've told people. People are not going to keep going to work if this keeps going. We can't have inflated dollars. We can't have increased prices without some kind of backlash. And no matter amount, the revolutionaries, the counter-revolutionaries, whatever. I mean, they're indicting. There was active military members at the Capitol siege and everything else, and they've arrested them and stuff. The military's telling signs. So I bring it up. Just people pay attention, man. Pay attention to the way they're treating the military, what they're saying about the military. Obama did this. This happened a lot under Obama. Just like he talked about letting whistleblowers happen, but then he cracked down on whistleblowers.
It's weird. It's almost like Obama calls the White House.
Yeah, and I'm going to branch Obama quick into a consortium on a couple issues. Shadow President Obama. Former President Obama. Isn't he the current administration's fucking chief talker to her? If I have a disagreement, I'll just step down. We'll circle back. Ha ha ha. I'll tie up Obama one more time too, real quick. With everything going on in Israel lately, I know you've seen the videos of the Iron Dome in Israel, intercepting missiles from. So I don't want to get into the whole Palestine-Israel thing. Honestly, I don't know that much about it. It's not that I don't care. It's just so deep, and I don't know what to think. So I bring it up because watching the videos it's sad, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's humans, like those buildings collapse and people die. Like, it's crazy. This is why politics matters, religion matters, history matters. We got to talk about this stuff. That being said, removing all the people from it, the actual fighting with the missiles was fucking awesome. It looked like a video game. Like, I didn't even believe. I saw a wide shot of the missiles, dude, and it was just like all these fingers of the other ones intercepting them. And for people who don't know, the Iron Dome missile is a anti-missile system. So it shoots other rockets out of the air, which is way more impressive than shooting rockets at something. It's far more impressive because the rocket's got to be faster, agile, like all these things, the measuring, the level of fail. It's just. So I looked into who made these things. Okay? Well, lo and behold, it was made by the Israels, and they researched it for years and years. And I got to a point in the article that talked about how I think it was 2010, Barack Obama actually issued $213 million from the United States Congress to help Israel build these missiles.
Interesting.
So remember when Barack Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize for fixing his economy, and they always said that he was a peaceful president because it's a fucking lie. It's a fucking lie. It's one of these one more talking points. We had peace deals under Trump. Now, not saying that was going to happen. They've been signing peace deals over in that part of the world for hundreds of years, and they've never kept through to them. So it's anything else. But from going from something that seemed relatively not crazy to literally all-out war, Israel's talking about storming Palestine, and that doesn't necessarily affect us in the West here. But we're supposed to be getting out of there. Remember, September 11th, not a day after. This is why this is foolish. This is short thinking, and this is political. This is not based in fact. This is not rooted in true good military spirit. It's just political banter, and this is what keeps these wars going. So I guess I'll end on that for today with the politics. So my Decembertainment. Dave, you listen to modern hip-hop at all?
Not really.
Do you know who J. Cole is?
About the only modern actual hip-hop artist left.
Between him and Kendrick, yeah. If you talk this generation, especially if you start asking kids, dudes our age, when you get in the younger generation, they got Juice WRLD and all that shit, So it's a different thing. But there's a split. There's definitely a split in the political hip-hop, the hip-hop landscape as far as your age and normally what style of hip-hop you've like. Yeah. Just because I'm a hip-hop fan, I like hip-hop, it's influenced me. But J. Cole dropped an album this week, The Off Season. It's awesome. It's awesome. I didn't listen to it repetitively or anything. I did give it, a good listen, really good listen. And dude, for a fan of hip hop and everything else, and like, it was respectable for a new hip hop generational artist. So yeah, go check it out. If you like hip hop, check it out. Jay's always got, he was never big on auto-tune, and he's been experimenting over his last couple albums. I got into J. Cole super late, when he was out on the scene when he first blew up. I didn't get into him recently until the last couple of years, but I have breezed over his discography, and it's normally all around pretty good, pretty solid. You know, he's got lines he talks about how he studied the greats, you know, which is like not Biggie, Tupac, Jay-Z, obviously, who, if you don't know the story of J. Cole, he actually waited outside of Rockefeller Records for like, I don't know if it was a year or a month. He used to go down there every day with his mixtape and try to give it to Jay-Z. And Jay-Z blew him off the one time. He actually seen him. He's like, Jay, and Jay's like, man, whatever.
Jay-Z should know better. He did it with Kanye West, too.
And then the next time, well, maybe it's all about, like, dedication. You know, like, maybe that guy was just, how does Jay-Z, you know? It's kind of like when you get in a
Is that his thing? Like, he purposely sees how dedicated somebody is? Maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, if I go there every day for a year and that guy's still standing there trying to get my attention, I mean, how many people are going to wait a year in the rain?
Yeah, at least give him a listen.
So the next time, like, I may be getting parts of the story wrong, but basically he did go down there and wait outside Rockefeller Records, and then he eventually slipped the mixtape, and then Jay called him, and he was signed to Rockefeller for his first album, which is called The Sideline Story. You know, like his first production album is The Sideline Stories. Everything else was mixtapes. So, like, Jay's always wanted to be a basketball player, too, which he got actually accepted into, like, the African, it's like a, you know, not NCAA, but it's like amateur professional ball. Yeah. So he's going to be playing that, but the point is, like, that was his thing, is hip-hop and basketball. So, like, a lot of his parallels is compared to, like, waiting on the bench for his time in the light. You know, like, he's practices with everybody, but he never got a chance to go. And that's, like, symbolic with him waiting outside Jay-Z, and very cool. Very good artist, articulate, all that. He reminds me a lot of Nas, because Nas was always like, he could talk, you know, like the gangster, like the typical hood stuff that I may not be able to relate to all the time, but I can appreciate the structure of the art, right? Like, that's something about gangster rap that I couldn't necessarily relate to it all the time, but if it had good structure and I could see the art from it, I liked it as a hip-hop head. But Jay's got that little, you know, the gangster aspect, but he's still, like, intelligent, articulate. He's educated, went to college. Like, he can dabble in both, and Nas kind of has that. Tupac kind of had that feel. Tupac was more like thug and lover, though. You know, he wasn't quite the intelligentsia and thug, which is more the Nas and J. Cole style. So yeah, everybody check it out. J. Cole off season on all DSPs and all that shit. Nobody buys albums anymore, so. Did you have any Decembertainment this week?
I'm a big documentary guy. I like documentaries. That's always been my thing. The Son of Sam on Netflix. It was pretty strong. It gets way crazier than I expected.
What's it about? I know nothing of this.
Do you know who the Son of Sam is? The killer of David Berkowitz?
Nope, no, nothing.
All right, so back in like the 70s, I think in New York City, there was a dude who just went apeshit, started just randomly. This was the story: was this guy was just going out and shooting random people in their car, young females, and there was, I don't know, 6, 7 murders or whatever, and finally, David Berkowitz finally confesses to all the murders and whatever, and he goes to jail and for life, I'm assuming. And then there was one reporter who was like, you know, some of these don't make any sense. Like, there was one, like, it was physically impossible if you timed it. Like, the guy couldn't have gotten from where he was seen last to when the murder happened in that span of time. Like, it just wasn't physically possible. So he's like, it has to be bigger than this. So he started doing this deep dive into all this, and then it ends up, I don't want to give everything away for people who are going to watch it, but it ends up getting involved in, like, deep state cults and all types of crazy shit. So it was a pretty wild one. Definitely worth a watch. The whole thing of the whole story was like, nobody ever believed this guy. They always thought he was this big conspiracy theorist, which is kind of relatable. Like, he had all this evidence and everything. He's like, look, listen, this is the evidence. This is what I found. And they're like, yeah, but I don't believe you. It's pretty crazy. So everybody just brushed everything under the rug, and it ends up being true.
You know, this has got, I don't want to get back into, like, a philosophy on this, but it's like, this has got to be so indicative of human history, man. Like, it was just like, that's too crazy. And that's what let, like, a cockroach, you know what I mean? Like, I got into some Alexander the Great YouTube videos this weekend. The dude's fucking incredible. It's incredible.
No, you can point to this over and over throughout history, and one of the really interesting things is they were pointing to, I don't remember who it was, maybe it was like the Daily Press or something. It was like an old school newspaper. Well, there was another journalist who like sort of led into like where this other reporter was going, and the editors took the story and they totally tore it apart and made it a totally different story and published it.
Headlines.
So they took a story that was inevitably true, tore all of it apart, put a false narrative together, shipped it out in the paper.
And this is how long ago?
50 years. Yeah, nothing new.
Nothing new, but it's important. That's why we cover it, people. So, yeah, man, that sounds like a cool documentary. I'm not gonna say I would watch something like that, but I will definitely tell. What's it called? Son of Sam.
I think it's called The Sons of Sam.
Okay, I'll let my sister and my mother know. They're big into, especially murder docs. They're big into that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's solid.
Yeah, I'll definitely branch that along. But yeah, short of that, man, that's all I got. All right, enough of the games.
You still there?
Yeah, you didn't walk off on me this week. All right, everybody. This is Dave and Rye from December 1773. If you made it to the end, I appreciate it. If you like the video, share the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Stay locked to YouTube. We drop Mondays 9 Eastern. And yeah, what?
9.
Oh, I'm sorry, 7 Eastern. Jesus Christ! I'm throwing the whole fucking production out the window here. I watch every week.
It was a good show, and then Ryan had to do an outro.
Hey, we'll do live one day. This will be way better live.
Ryan carries the whole show long. He's just carrying the thing along like nothing, and then when it gets to
the end cap, dude.
When he gets to the part where he's got to close it out, falls right on his face.
What's incredible is we get on here every week and talk for about an hour every week. You know, it's pretty.
It ends up being about the same time all the time. I don't know how it naturally works that way.
Really incredible. So I appreciate everybody. Once again, we drop at 7 Eastern. I look forward to hearing you on the premiere. Make sure you comment during the premiere, and Dave will probably write you back. I'll be there watching with you guys. Appreciate all the support. Love you, Discrimination. No, go ahead.
Not only the live comments during the thing, which is fun. I like commenting with everybody and everything. But after it ends, leave an actual comment in it too, because I think that's what YouTube tracks. I don't think they track live comments.
Okay. Yeah. December Nation. Love you all. Dave, I love you, and catch you all later.
See ya. Thanks everyone. Thanks, Ryan.
Later, bud. Thanks.